So, some of my favorite stories that I always have heard through the years, whether it's in push, and many times you hear the stories through push because everyone's working so hard and they're sharing their stories at the end. But it happens on a day to day, like where you might have a week, maybe you had stuff going on during the week, maybe you had bad phone times, I don't know, maybe you didn't get to phone, but you're not booked up how you wanted to be, right? And I remember the first time this happened on a Saturday, I was like, oh crap. And after that, I was booked and I made a strategy to always be booked. But my manager had told me, he's like, hey, don't freak out. You can still build a gram. Like, I only have 2 appointments today. He's like, you could end up having 6. I'm like, oh, he's like, well, first, obviously make some calls in the morning. He's like, but have your customers help you. He's like, with the demos you do have, he's like, have your customers help you. Just ask them, say, hey, I'm actually trying to get another appointment for today. Let them know what's happening. And have them help you. And I was like, okay. So I tried what he showed me. And so I made a couple calls that morning. I had booked one for later on. But I went to my first appointment, which was like at 11. I did the appointment with the customer. And at the end, I did the alley-oop. And I was like, once we got the referrals and had everything, I was like, all right, well, I want to thank you so much for all the time you've given me today and the recommendations. By the way, from the referrals that you sent over, I'm like, is there anyone you think might be home right now? Like, cause there's one more thing I could really use help with. They're like, yeah, what's up? And I'm like, well, I actually still have 2 more openings I'm trying to fill for today. Or I have an opening right now, actually. My next one's not until 3:30. And I've got to do at least 2 more today to stay on track for my goal for the week. I'm like, if you could help me set an appointment for today, I'm like, it would help me out so much. And I would give you the $45 Cutco peeler for free for the help. They're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, who do you think we could have called first? And they're like, oh, let me see if my sister's home, or let me see whatever. And they just call them and introduce you to them, and so the lady did that. She called one of her best friends, and her best friend was like, yeah, I can help her. I can do it now. We're available, which isn't always the case, right? But I was like, oh, heck yeah. And I went over there and did a demo with them, by the way. In like 20 minutes, I sold a signature and flatware. It was like a $2,800 order or something. I gave them a bunch of stuff for free. But that was like literally a leapfrog. Like the lady, I told her I needed 2 more to hit my goal for the day. After we got the referral, she was like, who'd be so good, like Bob. And because I said, oh, do you know when they might be home today? She's like, oh, but he's like never home. His schedule is so crazy. Hi, buddy. His schedule is like super crazy. And I was like, okay. So anyway, she calls him and he says, oh, I'm actually on my way home. My wife is home right now. The AC is guy's coming over. Benjamin wants to teach too. And he's like, yeah, send her over, and that was live, could have been virtual. Should have been like, hey, give her a call, same thing. But I ended up doing the appointment there. So this is something, hi, yes, hi. Say hi. This is something that makes such a big difference. Someone's very happy this morning. Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Look. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys this right now to go through. It's super, super simple. All right, so everyone be ready to role play this right here. I'm going to share it so you guys can screenshot or I'm also going to share the link. All right. So let me kind of zoom out a little bit. Oh, not that much. All right. Here's the zoom. So there we go. So if you guys want to screenshot that real quick. All right. That is the leapfrog approach. Oh, I might have gotten in your way. Hold on. All right, there we go. So if you want to go ahead and screenshot it, you can do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat box the link. So if you want to go ahead and open the link, but this is super simple. And by the way, this is something that when I remember Victoria Montalbano, one of my girls, she had a 1 appointment for the day, right? At like 10 or 11 a.m. In the morning on Saturday, she made some calls. She booked up another one for that afternoon, okay? She went to her first one. Her first one, she finished, she got her Rex. And at the end, she asked them, hey, Miss Susie, I have to get at least 2 more to hit my goal for today. I was wondering if there's any chance you knew someone that might be home right now, that might be available right now from the people you gave me. I said, and I can hook you up with a I could hook you up with the $45 peeler. I'm like, if you're able to help me get one appointment for today. I'm like, is there any way that you could call her and just let her know, hey, I have this today, working with Cutco. She gets paid to show it. Just make sure they know there's no obligation and it helps me for a big goal. And so she did that. And Victoria ended up doing an immediate with one of the ladies' neighbors. And she also got one of the ladies' friends booked for later that night, like at 6 p.m. And so she sold that first lady, I don't know, a couple $100, but she ended up getting 2 more appointments, one right after and one that evening at 6. She went to her appointment she had booked right away. They bought an essential set. Okay. So she drops like $500 on that one. She gets her Rex. She tells them the same thing. She ends up booking their sister for that same day. All right. By the way, at the end of the day, she ended up completing 5 appointments. She had 4 sales and she sold over $1,900. Pretty cool. All right. I remember one of our guys and Omar, he had done this and he had he had 0 demos. He had 0 demos on Saturday morning, by the way, 0. And on Saturday morning, he went ahead, made his 25 calls. He booked up 1 for that day earlier in the day. He went and saw that one. And the guys, same deal. It was nuts, but he made his 5 calls before and after each appointment. So he booked up, I think 2 came from like doing that. And then the other 3, because he booked 1 in the morning, he booked 2 from doing 5 before, 5 after, and he booked it for the same day. And then the other 3 came from his customers. But he ended up doing 6 appointments. He had 0 when he started the day on Saturday morning. He had 6 appointments and he ended up having like 3 sales, sold about $1,000, but he created a grand day from scratch. And that's what that is. And so it's not being afraid to ask for an immediate appointment. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to role play this real quick. So this is after you've gotten you wrote the order, you've gotten your, or you put your order online, you got your referrals, you got everything. All right. They must purchase in order to put the peeler on the order. If not, actually, this is like 10 years old. This is not $5 now, they're $7. So if not, you can buy one from managers for $7. All right. So basically at the end, you're like, oh, Mrs. Customer, Mrs. Susie, I just really want to thank you for all the time you've given me today and for the 12 recommendations. By the way, of these recs, who do you think might be home right now? I'm like, there's one more thing you can do for me. I'm like, I actually have an opening right now. And I have to get 2 more appointments today to keep on track for my goal for the week. I'm like, if you can help me set an appointment for today, it would help me out so much. And I would give you the $45 Cutco peeler for the help. I'm like, who do you think we could call first? Right. And that's that. And so very simple. And by the way, if like you guys, this is something where like, does it have to be exactly verbatim? No, it's just going to tied up, but you're just like thanking them so much for helping you, right? Asking them, telling them, oh my gosh, I still have to get 2 more for today. Who do you know that might be home right now? And just asking and then letting them know if they can help you get an appointment for today, then you can hook them up with the $45 peeler for free. Cool. So we're going to practice this real quick, just like 2 times each. You're just going to have a couple minutes. So do not waste time to do it a couple times each. And then we're going to come right back here. All right. So go ahead and join your rooms. Hold on. All right. Join your rooms. Join your rooms. Let me see who we're moving around here.
What time are we leaving?
At 10.
Okay.
Actually, like 9:45. I want to be there.
That's fine. I'm ready now.
All right, cool.
Hi.